Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
The Moja Club makes awesome funky socks that you can buy individually. You can get a subscription, and by you, I mean you and the other guy. Sign up for 6 months or a year and get a pair delivered to your house every month. Get a pair, keep a pair. They'll even throw in one extra month free. And Cyrus Says listeners get a full 33% discount. Just go to their website, themojaclub.in, and use the code Cyrus Says. Time to talk travel stories, and to talk you through travel stories without making a mistake, the one and only Ambika and Hoshna. Yes, their relationship is not approved by me, but their stories are. Check out new episodes on our IVM podcast apps. Happy listening, mother and fathers. Alright, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Alright, let's meet a man called SB. Well, no one's ever called him SB, but I'm going to call him SB for the first time. His name is Sidharth Bhatia. No relation to Ruby Bhatia, a VJ I once dated for 2 Saturdays until she realized that I was a man. Folks, Sidharth Bhatia is a journalist, a very interesting human being. He's going to change the way society looks at herself. Not the magazine, apparently, and that's the sad part.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
Yeah, this is Cyrus Says, and I met a friend the other day. Well, I was looking from the window of an office about 10 floors high, and I noticed how he stopped his rickshaw about 3 to 5 minutes away from our office building and then walked in. Which brings me to the point of why people are ashamed of what they're traveling in. I've never understood that. If you're traveling in a rickshaw, that's fine. You can be the richest man in the world and still travel in rickshaw. Most rickshaw people in India make more money than corporate people, lawyers, engineers, etc. So please remember, don't devalue the vehicle. Don't feel bad about what you're traveling in. Think of the rest of the country. The whole country is a rickshaw, as far as I'm concerned. It's Cyrus Says.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Alright, the name is Sidharth Bhatia, and he's got a story to tell. And that's what the show's all about here. Cyrus Says is the name of the show, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Cyrus.
And as usual, I do my research, so I know everything about you. It's in about 3 lines.
Yes.
And I won't waste time telling you what it is. But I want to start with the UP elections. Now, you're a journalist. You've been a die-in-the-wood sort of journalist for a long time. Been reading some of your stuff, and I wouldn't like to say left or right-wing, but somewhere in the middle. Sidharth, UP, nobody predicted that.
Well,
we have psephologists in the studio that I work in come and go, and I'm going back to Jan, and I'm talking about the early predictions. No one predicted it. They predicted that things would go a little awry, but nobody predicted this kind of massacre.
have you noticed that lately, well, for a long time, but lately too, pollsters have getting everything wrong.
Indian pollsters?
No, even Brexit, Trump, 2 examples.
Was Brexit called wrong?
Completely. All the polls were showing that, people would...
So the bookies are in charge? Is that what you're trying to say? Worldwide?
No, the people are in charge.
Mm-hmm.
The people do not want to give away what they're thinking. It can be for several reasons. It can be to keep their own notions to themselves. And I think pollsters and pundits both are looking at everything from a very traditional point of view. Caste configurations.
Absolutely. I think this mathematical Indian mind goes against us sometimes.
Yes.
Because I think we're looking 40% Muslim vote, 22% Dalit vote, and en masse this will happen, that will happen, put together some figures, some sort of valuation to it, and at the end of it, they've given you a figure, and it's absolutely wrong.
As though they're a bunch of sheep who are just going to think according to...
What is this demographic voting that people have come up with?
No, there is something to be said for identity-based voting, but it's not every
Didn't
Muslim...
work in UP this time, it looks like.
No, it's not worked in several places.
Mayawati is right, and they messed up with the machines. What about that? Banned in Germany, banned in Scandinavia, banned in some Asian countries.
You know who came up with an anti-machine kind of campaign a few years ago? The BJP.
No, BJP, was it?
Yes,
Is
they
this
wrote
true?
a book.
What are you saying?
Narasimha Rao wrote a book. GVL Narasimha Rao, their psephologists, wrote a book saying that they should be banned. Subramaniam Swamy went on a campaign and said these machines are riggable.
So we are aligning ourselves with Subramaniam Swamy now. That's how the world is turned.
My point is that this has been brought up before.
Fair enough, yeah.
And now, suddenly
now that we digress there for a second, Sidharth, and I know your ears are to the ground, is there any chance, because I'm putting it out there for a second, the kind of scorecard that we got where 330, 340 votes out of 400 is just ridiculous score. So is it possible that there was some fudging? I mean, this is India.
Yeah, but it didn't happen in Punjab, for example. Why didn't it happen in Bihar? So I love conspiracy
So
theory.
do I. I just love it.
Yeah.
Especially when the form book has been altered.
And just imagine some 3 techies sitting somewhere and
There you
doing
go.
everything, etc.
3 guys in Mexico. Take that, Donald Trump. They're the ones who screwed up the UP elections.
But I would say no. I would
So is
lean
it-
on the side of saying no.
So would it be right to say that the Indian voter is changing in the last 4 to 5 years as we speak, and we're trying to understand him, and it's all about money, it's all about demonetization, for example, seems to have worked. Is that right to say? Poor thinking you brought the rich down, they stand in line with us, social
Definitely.
justification ho gaya.
Definitely.
So a little bit there. Also the fact that people are not voting along caste lines, religious lines.
Not beyond a point.
Not beyond a point. It's
Yeah.
there, but more important is rosa roti and food and drink and all that.
Yeah, well, caste configurations are critical. Don't forget
But
that.
then why did Mayawati, look at that, Mayawati got less seats than a scooter at the end of it. I mean, what, 17? It's just, I mean, it's hilarious.
Yeah, so large-scale desertions from her
Why?
base. There will have to be some much more advanced, research on this.
But the point is the lower caste are saying, we don't want you anymore. They just turned their backs on Mayawati.
I think she gave a lot of seats to the Muslims, thinking that they would also come on her side, and even
And that
they
backfired.
didn't. Even they didn't.
Right.
The point is, maybe she's
So you're
also
saying if
lost
she
the
stayed
plot.
with her caste politics.
No, I think
she'd have
she's
still
also
got-
lost the plot. She's also lost the plot. They're not seeing her as the only representative of their interest. There are 2 things. One is that caste configurations do matter. But the second thing is that ultimately the Indian voter wants what everyone wants. Growth, jobs, roads.
So explain Donald Trump to me then, in the same breath.
Donald Trump, I don't think there is any need to talk about roads and jobs.
Yeah.
But I think there is need to talk about tapping into great resentment. Look, he's not won the popular vote. Remember that.
Yeah, but that's Unni's beast when you look at it. It's not like he was being thrashed by Hillary on one-to-one basis. He still got a lot of people to support him. He has a huge base. It's not like 10% of America wanted him.
I think there is a new element that's emerged all over the world, and it's called
Right.
resentment.
So that's
Resentment.
like anti-incumbency then, isn't it?
Anti-rich,
Would you look at Obama's 8 years as not good for America? I thought he restructured and brought them back on keel.
But he was talking equality, democracy, and that hurts.
And his medical benefits, which he was thrown out of the window. I want to.
Now, immediately, in the first few days.
Unbelievable. It's almost like mean.
Resentment.
Can you explain that as a parallel? Because I don't know. Are we not able to understand the nation's...
So let's take Europe. I mean, we all know Europe a bit better, and Britain also. The resentment was against these so-called elites. The resentment was against
this French election is going to be fun.
Yeah, but happily in Netherlands, that man has lost badly.
The right-winger, yeah.
So, and in Austria, he lost.
Well, Le Pen is trailing this new guy, Manuel, who's come out of nowhere.
So happily, somebody, ultimately good sense prevails.
You think? What happened in America, Mr. Sidharth Bhatia? Should we be worried about Donald Trump?
I think we should be.
Because we thought it was all just hyperbole and just big talk and chest bashing, and I thought it was a bit of Bal Thackeray, just trying to say things to excite the galleries. But it's much more than that. Now we're getting a little worried with the kind of people he's choosing. That Kellary Conway is another scary woman.
It's
I can't
completely,
understand. You start getting cynical now.
And Spicer.
And Spicer, yeah, it gets worse and worse. You look at the list.
Yes. So what
should
you
we-
see is what you get.
Should we worry?
Is in this case, it's what you see is much
Worse
than what you get.
we'll end up getting. Oops, that's quite cynical. Yeah, coming back then to UP, is that a good call for India? But that these 2 big parties, regional parties, were pushed off? Or is good the wrong word?
I think they will bounce back. Regional parties have a loyal following. They will bounce back. They need to do a lot of their internal restructuring, but regional parties have a place.
Did he mess up with the whole Mulayam saga, the Shivpal saga? Did that vote against them, make them look unstable? Amar Singh coming in the middle and all. Did people suddenly think SP party needs to get their act together, hence we won't give them the vote? Would that be it?
Well, I don't know how the voter thought, but from what I'm gathering from our correspondents, that this young man started working towards so-called development only in the last year and a half.
Before that, ek do bridge banaya. It's not like
before that there was hardly anything. Before that it was just the same old caste thing, and the party is now unfortunately come to be associated with the thuggish element.
Yeah.
And so that was very much there. He was taking 2-3 years to just mama idhar, chacha idhar.
What about the star psychophancy issue in India, the Modi effect, the fact that he goes and he sort of, is there something to that?
So yes.
His relentless campaigning, does it matter?
First of all, energy.
Good orator.
Tremendous energy to be everywhere. Great orator.
And actually,
touching certain base emotions in you also.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget that. But he also sells everything as a great moral project, as a
there was a little bit of Muslim bashing in a couple of the speeches.
Yes.
There was a little bit of Hindu right-wing love being expressed. But I think devil-sized scriptures for his purposes. We're learning that as we speak.
Lots.
So would you think of him more as a Machiavellian figure, just doing whatever he has to win? Or does he actually believe in things? What's
Everyone does what they have to win. He does it better. And he's got the formula pat. And I think...
he doesn't have anybody to take him on. Isn't that the problem also in terms of as an orator,
Certainly.
as a magnetic personality, as the kind of thing he brings to the party?
Absolutely. When he has no one to take him on in his own party. Remember
it's
that.
a one-man party. I was discussing this with some guys the other day. Who? If something happened to him, who would take over?
Nobody.
Because Arun Jaitley is too polished and too classy, let's face it. And Rajnath Singh, pan-India politician, come on. Exactly.
Has been
Back to school.
Yes. He didn't want to go, but he's been dispatched.
So what about this whole cabinet, now that you brought it up, reshuffling thing? You think that's a good thing in democracy when you change people midway?
They should, yes.
So that you sort of don't get stale or perhaps don't corrupt the institution, as the poet says.
And the third element here is lack of performance. And certainly in the case of the defense ministry.
So lack of performance in the CM seat or lack of performance?
In the defense ministry.
So you see Parikar has been punished?
Not punished.
Who will be punished by sending them to Goa? I don't get that. That's not punishment.
No.
Delhi to Goa, Sidharth Bhatia.
Half of Delhi.
Every single Delhiite will say, ma'am.
Yeah. If you go to Goa, you'll see something called GK7 or something like that. Which is
Vasant Vihar with a B. Yeah. So that from your point of view is a bit of
when there is a lot of criticism, Mr. Modi's style is not to drop that person, but quietly ease him out to something else.
Okay.
And that has happened in the past. As you may have noticed, a lot of people have been quietly shuffled off, unlike what used to happen earlier, where there's too much Mrs. Gandhi or Rajiv Gandhi used to show that.
And senior politicians have never shown their place also. We had this thing. Here, Mr. Modi doesn't seem to be worried about, people's egos that much. Pushes them around from time to time. Okay, let's leave UP on the thing for a second. Come to Punjab. Was it anti-incumbency? BJP just screwed it up.
See, all 5 elections are anti-incumbency.
In some way, yeah.
Yeah. Goa certainly is.
Yeah.
Manipur was.
Yeah.
UP was.
Yeah.
Punjab was. However, it's been all addressed up as
we'll just quickly target Punjab and then Goa also. I'm just looking at Punjab for a second, saying 77 and as against 22. We expected AAP to come in a big way. I don't know, maybe it's a media hype again, but it seemed like he was doing groundwork. His presence was there. He was seen to be there.
But he was seen as an outsider.
You think?
Yes, definitely.
Because they kept saying non-Punjabi speaking, Marwari guy from IIT, running Punjab, it'll be a great thing for democracy, blah, 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 blah. But
no, that doesn't work.
Narendra Modi is a Gujarati man from somewhere.
But that's India, no? That's India.
Yeah. But then he can go to Varanasi and get the kind of respect a homeboy will get, so.
And also the fear was that the AAP, there were a lot of factors for AAP if you're asking about AAP. AAP is the great white hope of the middle classes.
When cometh the Messiah, something like that. The Messiah's got a muffler, the Messiah's got a cough, he's has health problems in Bangalore every 2 weeks, he has a breathing issue. I think he's got to get a little tougher.
X number of years I've done in this business. I won't say how many, because that will age me immediately, but I can tell you one thing, Messiahs come, Messiahs go. VP Singh was one, came and went.
I think he's missed his time, as in Kejriwal.
No.
About 3 or 4 years back, perhaps, when it all would have fallen into place.
No, but the Punjabi voter says, this guy is the party chief. Who's the chief ministerial candidate? He'll be in Delhi, he'll be elsewhere. Why should I vote?
So that went against them.
That one very major point.
BJP were never in the game in Punjab.
No, BJP has never been in the game in Punjab.
Yeah, they need all the regional parties to prop them up.
Yeah. The Hindus of Punjab never vote for the BJP.
Is it so?
Never.
Okay.
It's a different composition of Hindus.
So for you, that it was playing to form as far as Punjab goes.
I think they've given a chance to the Congress and to Amarinder Singh.
And I'll tell you one thing, you bring up Amarinder Singh, and I'm thinking, why can't he run the Congress? He's got the kind of personality, he's got the kind of sort of
there
dynamic.
There are several people in the Congress who can run the party. Definitely, Amarinder Singh is one of them. And I would list a few others.
No,
too.
and why we talk about this is also because of that Goa and to some extent Manipur, you're leading 17-13, all right, with 21 being the benchmark. 17-13, if you do the maths, is like in a bigger state like 60-40-45. You can't lose from there.
Yes, but in the case of Goa, certainly the governor has done a little bit of sharp practice.
Favoring the right over the center?
No, favoring the BJP, definitely. And it's quite possible that the Congress couldn't have come up with the numbers.
But what has it that Digvijay Singh sat on his chair and didn't call anybody up?
No, that's not true. That's not true. Yeah. Even she has admitted yesterday in an interview that they called me, but I gave them an interview a little later. But I was convinced, she says, that these guys couldn't have cobbled together a majority. And that discretion is allowed.
And what is your opinion?
My opinion is I think she should have called them, let them fail on the floor of the House. Mr. Bajpayee did that in, I think, 1996. And let them fail. Doesn't matter.
So what you're saying is the governor, nobody is absolutely unfettered and controlled.
Well, the governor has said in her interview that she called up Arun Jaitley to ask his opinion.
Are you serious?
It's there in the Mirror.
Why does the governor have to call up Arun Jaitley?
I believe everything that appears in the newspapers.
Was it a Congress paper? That's hilarious. But
the Mirror has an interview and it's a very good interview.
But why isn't there a procedure? The governor, that's the governor's call, right? Governor is the so-called titular head of the
She calls constitutional experts.
Why should she call the centre?
But there it is in print.
Did this happen in Tamil Nadu as well? A month back? Was the governor being told?
I'm not a very au fait with...
Firstly, they gave him 2 states. That was too much for him to handle, I think. And on top of that, I'm just thinking.
He pushed off.
So does the PMO tell you what to do at the end of the day?
Not necessarily, no.
Mr. Sidharth Bhatia doesn't want to call a spade on this one because we have to go back to our various houses.
No. More than that, how do we know it's the PMO telling them? There could be other elements.
I don't understand. If you're the governor of the state, why you have to refer to anybody else? You're the end. You're the apex. You're the top. That's the point where we, decide what to do.
At the most, that governor can consult the president. At the most.
I've always said it, governors are best in cars. But now they've stopped doing it because cars don't need governors anymore. You get these cars, you drive them as fast as you want in 3 days. We'll take a break, then we'll come back. Sidharth Bhatia, we're going to talk about his life now. We've talked about our times, but now your life.
Okay.
Hi, I'm May, and I'm a huge fan of the indie music scene in our country. A scene that's relatively underground, even though it sometimes speaks its head overground, but there's no shortage of talent, and I get the privilege of interviewing some of the most awesome musicians on my show. I've had the likes of Euphoria, Krish Kale, Hardcore, Randolph Correa. I've had singer-songwriters, folk singers, electronic music producers, playback singers, rappers, fusion artists, instrumentalists, classical musicians, and so on. Whether mainstream or not, these people have chosen to release their original music, and these are the people currently shaping the direction in which our music scene is heading. Join me on my show every Monday and tune in to discover the unique talent coming out of India today. You can catch Made in India on your favorite podcasting app or our very own IVM podcast app.
Okay, back here on Cyrus Says with Sidharth Bhatia, a man who has seen many different governments, and I would love to ask him a little bit more about politics, but I've been told by my producer, a very mean stand-up comedian called Naveen Narona, has no sense of politics and hates it, doesn't know that you think BJP is a word, bajap. No, it's not. It's separate letters, for God's sake. I better get it right, because we're going to have 10 years of them, at least, by the looks of it. We will come back to the Congress mess, because I want to discuss that. I think we need a strong opposition, or some opposition, what sense of democracy. Sidharth, let's talk about you. Let's go back. You are the founding editor of The Wire, but let's go back now and just trace your journey a little bit. So, Sidharth Bhatia, young man, was where, how, what college?
Elphinstone College.
Mumbai! Great French department, right?
I don't know.
Boxing college.
It's also cricketing college.
Was it? Name one great from Elphinstone. There you got it.
Kundaran.
Budhi Kundaran is from...
No, his brother.
Budhi Kundaran, for those who don't know, wicketkeeper batsman, very hard-hitting batsman during Farooq Engineer's time.
And I think Ashok Mankad and his brother.
Rahul Mankad as well.
Yes.
You see, I know my cricket better than I know my government. Let's go right back to your life. So Elphinstone, my parents also...
In those days called Elphinstoned.
Elphinstoned, is it? I wonder why, Sidharth Bhatia. No, our young viewers, our young listeners are interested. Elphinstoned, is it? Admission open whenever you feel like. Yeah. Go back to so why journalism? What was the background?
Basically, in one line, because I was quite useless for any other possible
That's how
job.
I got into comedy. This is the same story.
Yeah. And in those days, the thing to do, and I'm talking about those days, I'm talking about the 70s.
70s, yeah.
Those days, the thing to do was, if you couldn't make it to engineering or medicine
or law,
you applied for the State Bank probationary exam.
Wow, what is that?
To join the State Bank, because if you joined at 22, you retired at 60, and then life was made.
Wow.
None of this impressed me. Also, I was not bright.
Sorry, but what was your father's line of work?
So my father was in the restaurant business. He was various restaurants. My mother was a government servant.
What are you saying?
And
when you were a wastrel?
And there was no
entrepreneur and a government servant.
There was no journalism in the family. I don't think anyone knew what it was. I mean, we got the paper in the morning, the paper.
Yeah. And then you use it to put on various seats and all that.
Which my father grabbed to do the crossword. So I never really, And it was the emergency. I was just finishing. I hadn't finished. It was the emergency. And the journalism was not considered anything at any moment. But the emergency even less so, because you couldn't say anything.
And
that much we knew. That much we knew.
You take a job, no money, nobody knows who you are, and then you get jailed.
So I applied as a trainee to a paper called the Free Press Journal, which was a very feisty paper, school for journalists. You name Bombay's great journalists, from Behram to Lakshman to Thackeray to M.V. Kamath, they've all come from there. I applied and I got it immediately because 30 people applied, 2 jobs were there. I got it because they were giving such a low stipend that nobody else wanted. You don't want to know. 250 rupees.
250 bucks.
Yes.
But in value terms, how much? About 3 grand, 4 grand today?
About 1,000 rupees.
That's it?
Maybe 1,500. It was really pathetic even by those standards. And immediately, the moment I joined, everyone realized I was the youngest and the most enthusiastic bakra. So they started making me do night duty till late.
Wow.
So worked there for several years, then jumped jobs and moved around and joined a couple of papers. I can mention The Independent, if you remember.
Of course.
I was there. Then I joined The Observer.
Do you know my aunt Olga?
Very well. In fact, I had
a
cup of coffee with her just 4 days ago.
Yeah, and she's the only journalist who doesn't care how much she gets paid. She's an amazing woman. She's never looked at a bill in her life, Mr. Sidharth Bhatia.
She said to me, and I'm not breaking confidences because you can check with her. She said to me, I'd like to write elsewhere and the Wire is doing great. And
she does.
I said, Olga, we are very broke. She said, but when did I ask about money?
She never
that
asked,
kind
never
of person.
Asked. It's amazing.
And I've known her from the 70s and I have seen her passion not dim this much.
With broken legs, she goes to she sits like a cub reporter in the back of a courtroom to follow some case. I'm amazed. It's amazing, really.
Well, in fact, speaking of Olga, and I think people of this city and this country must know, she is the one whose case against the government has saved the slums.
Slum dwellers, yeah.
And which is something I'm proud of.
And for my parents on the cocktail circuit, they were most appalled because all their friends would point fingers and say, tell your sister-in-law not to do this. And
no, she
fights for the underdog.
And
that's her deal.
Human dignity. Yeah. So glad you brought her up.
Yeah.
Wonderful that you're related to her, but nothing but sheer admiration.
Yeah.
And we've been friends. And then some television. I was with UTV in the old days.
Okay.
I did some programming for Star TV. Then worked overseas. Now, I just want to finish 2 lines.
Please do.
Worked overseas. And then DNA was starting in the 2005.
Right.
And I got a call from my old buddy, Pradeep Goa, who said, what the hell are you doing abroad? I was in Mauritius. And I said, Mauritius...
With money from certain clients. That's what Mauritius is known for.
No, I was running a
money laundering business.
Media company.
Far from
and
it,
he said, get your ass over here. So I said, why? And he said, we are starting a paper and we want only Bombay people at senior levels. So I jumped on a plane. I was here. 10 days before DNA was launched. You remember the hype?
Of course. What was that campaign? What was the campaign?
Fantastic.
About sex, yeah.
But it basically said, what's your DNA? What's the city's DNA?
Yeah.
And
it was huge. It just took over everything for a week.
And, the senior editors were all buddies from a long time. Malvika, Ayaz, everybody. Gautam Adhikari. I joined and I worked there for 5 years. And then I quit to write some books, mainly because...
I want to talk about the rock book, but before that, you're also an associate press fellow of Wolfson College, Cambridge University. What does that mean?
So this was a fellowship that I applied for in the 1990 or something, and I got it. That 2 or 3 times I've been to Cambridge, to the college. They give me stipend.
It's like an honor, is it?
It's prestigious. They give me money, and they give me a place to stay, and they say you can do whatever you want.
And the money is decent?
It's
better than 250 rupees that you got that first very night.
It's decent enough. It used to be, because the pound is now ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it used to be enough to live quite well.
And go to Lord's and watch the cricket as well in between.
Well, I did that, but I also went and interviewed a lot of people, researched in their library, wrote a few papers here and there.
Any British politicians?
Well, a few ministers here and there, but
no scandalous ones. All right, tell us about the rock book, The Psychedelic Age, the book you wrote about the rockers of the 70s.
So during this period that I was jobless.
The pre-Mauritius?
No. After I quit DNA, I was jobless. Okay. I was writing here and there. And it's all very well to say I wanted to go freelance. But basically, I was unemployable. And
unemployable or unemployed? They're two different things.
Both. I was both.
Because of your views?
No, because I was just, newspapers today want young guys, young women.
Have you met the young guys? They can't tell the ass from the elbow. Naveen, name the governor of Maharashtra. There you go. Count to 5. Nothing.
Okay.
What do you want to do with these young guys?
But he's not a journalist, to be fair.
But he should be. Well, there's no money in stand-up comedy. I've told him, become a journalist. Journalists can be funny too.
But here's the thing. A young guy or a woman comes for 1/5 of my salary.
Are you serious?
And an accountant in the office says 3 young guys I hire and throw this guy out.
When someone has a body of work and experience and opinions which are shaped through experience, I mean, you can't get that just by being 21 years old. I mean, wouldn't you want that?
Google, Wikipedia.
Maybe that's what's wrong with the world. Too many young people. That's where we're going right. You see,
possible.
It's like wine. With maturity and age comes the seasoned thinking. And people are more profound, I think, and are able to understand that there are layers in the life and world. And unfortunately, when you take too many young people, they're just in a hurry. Everybody goes right. The whole world's turned right because of that.
You've hit upon something which is
smashed the theory out of the park.
No, you've hit upon something more profound than I think you know. Because it's actually true.
I think
because there's no history.
I've never understood this age crap, to be honest. Both ways. The fact that you should have young or whether you should have old. I just don't get it. Why should that be a factor? The factor to hire anyone in any industry, in any line, should be if they are good for the job.
And a lot of old stupid people too.
Old stupid people, it's just not a factor. The factor is who's the best guy for the job. Now, would I want you writing or some unknown guy? When you can give me a seasoned account of the UP politics because you've been to 10 of them. For example, elections. I don't understand.
The other problem is, Cyrus, which you're seeing in India now, is lack of institutional memory. There have been gaps in people's knowledge.
True. We rely too much on the software.
So, if you ask somebody, tell me about Firoz Gandhi, and they'll say, he's Menka's son.
Yeah.
Well, because he's called Varun Firoz Gandhi. Then why? Because Google said so.
Apparently, very good orator.
No, he is a man with a future, according to me. A great future.
Who, Varun?
Yes.
Yeah. But which party? He's sidelined in the BJP. He's going to come back to the Congress and lead them. Are you saying something here?
I think he's got a future.
Are you saying that Rahul has to be replaced and you're looking at young blood and this is his cousin you're looking at?
No. I'm not saying that was a major leap.
Okay, all right.
It's a fantastic leap. Yeah. He'll make a great journalist.
Okay, but they're not letting him grow in the BJP. It's pretty clear.
Yeah. But they're going to squash him because he's much disliked. But I think he's extremely bright.
Yeah. Oh, God. So he's the Gandhi that isn't.
So anyway...
Yes, please carry on.
So I decided that I would write a book. Mm-hmm. I went to a couple of publishers. I wrote a couple of books before the psychedelic book. But around 2000 something or the other, I remembered that this was, I was discussing with my friend Naresh of Time Out about occasion when Led Zeppelin had played in Bombay in 1972.
Which was huge.
Which has now become an urban legend, but at that time was not known. And I had just discovered 3 of their music pieces called Bombay Sessions online. So he said, will you write? And it took me about 4 months to track down the people who played with them.
Okay. So Led Zepp was fooling around in the studio?
Led Zepp was actually staying at the Taj. Mm-hmm. They had landed in Bombay because of a breaking journey to Australia.
Oh, it's always that. They didn't actually come here. They'll take a break.
Three of them.
They weren't good enough for Led Zepp to come for officially.
And they went to the Taj.
3 of them, not the full group.
No, Page, Plant and their manager, John something.
Okay.
They went to the Taj disco called Blow Up. Mm-hmm. If you remember.
I think before my time. I remember 1900s. Does that help?
So before that. Okay. Exactly in the same place. And they went there and they said, this is the dullest nightclub we've ever been
I've been saying that for years. And
all these dudes dressed to the nines and they're
standing and holding the glass in a stiff way.
Somebody said to them, down the road there's another disco called Slip Disc.
That's where the naked women were, right?
No.
That's urban legend.
Come
on, Sidharth, tell the truth now. Expose the underbelly of South Mumbai.
Never came across them.
My older friends used to take me to Slip Disc in the late 80s and we used to...
Late 80s was a bad scene.
We get a little peekaboo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bad scene.
Achha, so at your time it was a straight up
It just opened as a disco. The difference being you just paid your $5
and people were easygoing and having fun there.
So these three guys go to the
Slip Disc?
To the gate, and
nobody knows who they are.
Watchman says, no, of course, some hippies, long hair,
right.
bedraggled. Yeah. The watchman says to them, "हमको बोला है इधर hippie को अंदर नहीं आने का." So they said, okay, what do we do now?
Page spoke perfect Hindi and said, yeah, teri maa ki... and then
some guy standing there associated with Slip Disc looked at them and said, wait a minute.
Are you Led Zepp?
No, aren't you some musicians? So he went inside, told the manager, took them in. When they sat down, ordered a beer. There's a photograph of them with a beer. And they said to him, aren't you Led Zeppelin? They said, yes. Would you like to play? They said, yes. So there was a band on stage.
They played impromptu?
For 30 minutes.
Wow. So if there was a real die-hard Led Zepp fan, would be like unbelievable. A private session.
It became a huge sensation. It made it to the magazines.
Was it recorded?
Now somebody says it's recorded, but nobody has found that tape. I have tracked down two people who were in the recording booth. One of them says we recorded and we gave it to the manager, but nobody knows.
I mean, that would be like gold.
Yeah, but the next day they recorded in
a proper studio.
HMB. You remember the HMB studio in
so those recordings are there. Yeah,
those recordings are there, and they are. So I wrote that piece. And then I spoke to a publisher and they said, can you build a bigger story around it? So I wrote a piece on my growing up days with rock music in Bombay and India.
Wow. Better times. Congress was in power, by the way. Just a reminder. Not that that's anything. I mean, I'm happy with India today as well. Not the magazine necessarily, but you know what I mean.
But also, the emergency comes into the book in a major way.
Listen, Congress have done a lot of crap for this country as well. Let history judge.
The book is not about music. The book is about India in the 70s.
But isn't it called psychedelic?
Yeah, but that's just true. But the
publisher said just anything where the P is silent, people are interested. The psychotic madman, psychedelic, psychology of a child.
P. Smith, yes.
There you go. Okay, author of several books, but we come to Wire now. And Wire, see, on the internet, I don't know, but a lot of people, I think, use it as a crusading mission. Or what they think is a crusading mission or social justification, etc., etc. So we have a lot of these websites out there who tell it like it is, or at least think they're telling it like it is. What is The Wire about?
The Wire is journalism old school. That is clearly...
Are you aligned in your mind, you think, to...
we are aligned to two things, I would put it. We have a mission statement, but we are aligned to two things. And we are not aligned to a third thing. If you bear with me for half a second.
Yes, please.
We are aligned to the Constitution. Absolutely. Human rights, freedom of expression. The second thing is that we are aligned to proper journalism, which should be combative and which should speak for the underdog. So we are definitely aligned there.
Can I just play the devil's advocate for a second here and ask you, what do you think of a thing like CNN, institutions like that, when they take a stance? Okay, let's forget whether it's right or wrong. You take a stance, so the objectivity of the whole thing seems to go out of whack a little bit when you already decided that Donald Trump is the devil, and you know what I'm saying. What happened to journalism, where whether they were right or wrong, you remain moderate in terms of representing people?
So that has to be answered in a nuanced way, because if the establishment has to be taken on,
or not, for example, here,
it has to be taken on. I don't know whether he took. You mean?
No, what I mean is taking them on. Who makes that decision? I would think the journalist doesn't make that decision.
No, the journalist does make the decision, because.
So it is his job to take on the establishment, or is his job to present the establishment?
No, his job is to ask questions of the establishment, because the establishment has a lot to answer for at any given time.
Are we doing that across the board?
In Indian media, alas, no. There I have to be frank.
In Indian English media, our little world?
Even
in
less.
Indian English digital media?
A little bit.
Okay, not a good scene. We have to go back to the 70s.
I think
the music was better to begin with.
Yes.
The women were hot. Are we allowed to say that? Women were hot? Naveen, come on.
Look, 40 years from today, there'll be a conversation like this, and they'll remember Justin
those
Bieber.
Guys, oh, jeez. Ow.
Was
You
the
spoiled the
music
discussion.
great?
Yeah. Forget right wing. This is terrible.
It wasn't One Direction.
Now that you brought
the
it up,
best.
and you're a rocker, I know that 76,000 rupees is what you're going to pay if you're in the front row for Justin Bieber.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. And the cheapest seats right at the back, am I right? Naveen, correct me if I'm wrong, is 38,000. I mean, this is Justin Bieber, not Elvis. What the hell? Justin Bieber,
And
the guy who
have you-
cleans my car, Raju, has the same voice quality. Come on. And
you
Raju
can
looks
wa-
better. Raju looks better.
And you can watch him on YouTube.
Yes, you can watch him on YouTube. I don't know. How did he...
76,000?
I blame the internet. $76,000 for one. He actually sings for an hour. By the way, they should give a discount because Sonakshi Sinha is performing first. So they should take 40% off right there. Right there. And what's the connection between Sonakshi Sinha dancing to some Hindi movie music and Justin Bieber singing baby, 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 oh, baby, 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 oh, in exactly that tone?
And with auto-tune.
Oh, yes, with auto-tune, correct. Oh, wow, you're right up to it, huh? When it comes to being a bitch, Mr. Bhatia, you're with us.
But I'll tell you why Sonakshi Sinha is there. This is my estimate.
Tell me.
Because this country has been Bollywoodized completely.
That's true.
It is not only Bollywoodized.
And cricketized.
Which is the same thing.
Same thing.
Because our tastes.
No, it's. I think it's lazy marketing and sales.
Yes.
People just come up with get 1 star, A grade, B grade, C grade. This is the marketing campaign. It's just ridiculous.
Yes.
You talked about DNA and their campaign, which went for I think 2 or 3 weeks prior to the launch of the
a
paper.
month or so,
You can
yes.
see a lot of thinking and imagination going into it. And
Not
et
a
cetera,
single
et cetera.
star was in it.
Not a single star. Yeah. And here now everything is different. It's just lazy. We just become lazy. Let's leave the country, Sidharth. If you could go to another country, where would you go? If you had all the money in the world, you were welcome, and there was no question about bureaucratic red tape, where would you go?
Vanuatu in the Pacific Islands.
Okay, this is a country of 3 people, obviously.
Yes.
2 of whom you'll never want to meet again, but you can still manage. Okay, Sidharth, it's been great talking to you, but we have a thing called Ask Me Anything, and we didn't quite get enough on the wire. I'm going to get a few answers on the wire as well, but to entertain us, here comes me.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
And the Merry May has come. This lovely lady runs this entire pantheon of gods that you're seeing, me not included. Hey, May, before you say hello to anyone,
Okay.
because there are 2 adult males speaking in macho India, where sexism prevails, no matter what you say, I should quickly get into the wire for a second.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is what
The Wire.
his whole.
Cool.
I sort of interrupted his answer, not just about aligned and non-aligned, but so what is the wire? What's it all about?
So the Wire is an cooperative effort by 3 journalists whose total, as it happened, journalism experience add up to about 100 years.
Wow.
And we are not aligned to any corporate, any political party, any ideology, but we are aligned to the idea that good journalism must speak for those who do not have a voice. That's one. Second, it has to be extremely high quality writing, not the usual agitprop kind of, let's go and...
Or the 2017 writing, which is all in acronyms. Tried reading messages from 12-year-olds. It's very painful. It's like 7 words represented by 4 letters. That's it.
No, so it's high quality, a little old-fashioned. Somebody just told me the other day, why do you have to be so serious? I said, because, we do serious
Quote
journalism.
the Everly Brothers. That's old-fashioned. That's the way love should be.
Yes.
You don't know the Everly Brothers. This is the problem with growing up in Bahrain. Or was it Muscat?
He's making stuff up now.
There are too many brothers but no Everlys.
No, but I subscribe to The Wire. It's incredible journalism. I
Well,
agree.
why don't you give in one line to tell him?
You tell us what the Wire. His point is, what is the Wire to you since you subscribe?
You know what? I'll tell you what I really love about The Wire, genuinely. There are things that you guys cover that I've never seen covered anywhere else in
So I
either
was-
mainstream or even internet media.
Like eggplants in Gujarati cuisine? Nobody's ever covered that. For me, it's
Seriously?
huge. I'm just kidding. Come on.
No, but I've been proposing an article on why dhania should be banned. But anyway,
1-1, Mr. Bhatia. 1-1 at halftime.
sorry, go ahead.
No, but that's one of the things that I really genuinely like, and the kind of depth that you go into, even with the subjects that you do cover, are incredible. Like, I am like...
I think she speaks for a lot of us. I think we realize after some time that we're living in a 21st century going so quickly that nobody's thinking their thoughts out deep enough or long enough for us to understand what you're saying. It's all one sentence.
Yeah,
Our philosophies are one sentence.
superficial and
I think
not-
we just reached a point where it's just too short. So there's no thought, literally. So when we get writing of some substance, I think it's really rare, and that's a sad thing to say, but I do think that between the 70s and now, journalism has actually gone in the wrong direction to some extent.
Definitely.
Fair enough?
Absolutely. While journalists have gone in the right direction because they are making good money.
But that's one way of looking at it. I mean, when you think that most of the journalists were left off center to begin with, I mean, all around the world, not just here.
And they started with 250 rupees. By the way, my salary is very, very low because we are a not-for-profit.
Right.
So we cannot be seen to be taking massive
Can you tell us
salary.
how much?
Probably a nice lunch for all of us at the Taj.
10 grand?
No, a little more.
15 grand?
Yeah, thereabouts.
15
But
grand.
very,
so
very
strike
low.
out journalism from my son's options.
No, strike out the wire from your son's option.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you're right. There's plenty of good journalists out there, is it?
Yes, terrific salary.
With Mercedes-Benz and junkets that they attend every 2 days.
So,
Why don't you write a book about the journalism and the nasty side and those who take advantage? And all be
that will
fun.
make me sound so bloody pompous.
Oh, I love pompous. Pompous is fun. You're from South Bombay. We're all bloody pompous. Boy. Okay.
So we went with a hat. For 8 months we had no
Money.
Then we went with a hat to several HNIs, high net worth individuals, with a social conscience. We went to a foundation in Bangalore, and now we have just enough money to run this operation with about 16 people.
But are you sure nobody's from the BJP, Congress or any regional party?
I'm pretty sure.
Because Arnab starting a channel and there are rumors
I'm
that the
pretty
strings
sure.
are being pulled.
It is backers have sued us. His alleged backers.
On an article?
On 2 articles, and we have had to take them down.
You're joking.
And there's a massive case of 10 crores per article.
Which that Taj lunch suddenly looks like a drop in the ocean.
That's insane. I had no idea.
Yeah, so Mr.
Defamation, is it?
Mr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar has sued us for articles that appeared in The Wire, but also similar articles appeared in 2 other outlets, but they have not been sued.
Right.
So,
Mr. Chandrasekhar, if you're listening, for the sake of journalism, pull back this silly lawsuit. The country needs more positive energy, not negative energy. Let the journalists criticize. That's what they do. I don't take it personally. They criticize me all the time.
That's true.
Just kidding.
No, they don't. They all love you.
All right. AMAs. Now we're going to switch tracks here,
AMAs.
Siddharth, for a second. And
called Ask
these
Me
are strange
Anything.
questions.
They're not strange.
Well, they're peculiar.
That's true. Did you tell him about how big The Wire became when they started? I found out about them through a friend of mine called Raghu Karnad. And the day you launched was insane.
So
You guys got like a flood.
and we were
like
trending on that day.
Yeah. That's how
So
huge they were.
there's
The
plenty
day
of
they
Indians
launched.
who are looking for a former sober
Exactly.
and real portrayal. Is that it?
Sober?
Well, some of the journalism, you have to drink something to enjoy.
Okay, so the AMAs, first question is from Shreyas, who says, what does bucks mean? Why does everyone use bucks instead of rupees in India?
Bucks is American slang, but like all American slang, we just do it wrong. Like
But it's
when we say dude, it sounds like milk. No, I don't know why we say dude. But I have
Yes.
kids in my son's age group going dude all the time. But we've got our Indian accents to it. You know, bro. Bro sounds, bro is such a powerful word when an African American says it. And when we say it, it just sounds like it sounds French to me. Bro. Just not the same thing.
But bucks is also used in places as far as Australia and South
Yeah.
Africa. So
Yeah.
that's a
Everywhere.
kind
And it rhymes with another one of my favorite words.
of... yeah.
But I can't discuss that on digital.
Oh,
radio.
really? Oh, sorry.
Oh, you didn't get that?
I know, it took
did
me
you
some
not,
time.
May?
Oh, suddenly you were
Did
like
not
really
get-
innocent
You want to
today.
read forward journalism and you can't write with...
What the...
I have missed you a lot.
Go on.
Okay, how does one deal with annoying, noisy neighbors?
I hate neighbors. Not just the Australian show, but just neighbors in general.
I don't know who this person is, but I would recommend that they read Jean-Paul Sartre, who said, hell is other people.
Hey, nicely done.
Well, he's there now. He should know.
Next one. What about you? Do you know?
But there's the same thing is how do you deal with annoying passengers, co-passengers?
Yeah.
I think you don't need the word annoying. Just co-passengers, because they will be annoying. It's just the way it is. Proximity
Their
is huge.
existence is
Our
annoying.
culture, proximity is the problem. We're just too close to each other.
Absolutely.
You know, the New Zealanders don't have that problem. They have to phone, they have to fax in the old days, how are you feeling, mom? Because she's on another farm, that kind of thing. But here, look at the way we live. I mean, rich people as well. It's not like a class thing. We all live 20 people to the house, 10 people to the house.
That's true.
There's
You don't
no
actually
place
get the
to park
chance.
the cars.
You don't actually get the chance to miss people because they're just all over.
Well, I try not to miss people when I'm driving. I got to tell you.
Has any of you noticed that around where you live, wherever,
yeah.
there's always some construction work going on.
Always.
Oh my God.
And interior
Bang on.
decoration.
You're spot on. It's perennial. And if one flat stops, the next flat starts. If
That-
one road stops, the next road
Then
starts.
marble cutting is the sound of the city.
That marble cutting. Oh, that's so beautiful. The marble, that's what is that? Kishore Kumar at his best? What is that?
And
You wake up to
construction
that in the morning?
all the
All
time.
the time.
I heard drilling in my house,
Okay,
like
watch
my
your
neighbor's
language.
house. After that, I exit my building and my road is being dug up.
See what you started.
And
Now, this is good journalism.
Yes.
You're right. We're just a city of improvised, makeshift, non-stop work.
And by the way, that's not something you'll find mentioned in the papers because papers are unconnected with the.
I mean,
the
at the end of the day, who cares if BJP won UP? You're right. That marble construction in Malabar Hill must stop.
No, that's the citizen needs to be written about their problems.
Localized.
And to say that there is a law which says that at 7 you have to stop.
Oh, nobody follows laws. He's right. And this is building
You're
societies
right,
of
honestly.
everyone will tell you stories. We have the worst person living in our building. I've never met a worse human being. It just causes trouble for no reason whatsoever. And half of it is because we just don't stop doing things. What do we
And
do?
if you go and ask or challenge, then they pile on to you.
Yeah, make it seem
They
like
have
it's
nothing
your
to lose.
fault.
The retired people who have nothing to lose and just want to
These
go on.
are important things in life, the quality of life, I think.
Absolutely.
There's a question directed to you, Sid. Who
Sid?
is
Who the Sid?
I-
You just went for the. He's smiling though. He likes it. Hi, mate. You can call
my
me Sid.
friend.
I call him Mr. Bhatia, by the way.
Can I
and
tell
I've known
you,
him 40 minutes longer.
He's written one of my favorite books, India Psychedelic. Did you
Okay.
guys talk about it?
We did.
Yes.
They're making him blush under the beard. I can see him
I
going
love
crimson.
that book, yeah.
He's going
I think
left.
my mother,
He's going
like-
left again.
I think my mother felt like you epitomized like everything in her like younger life after that book. Okay, so the question to you is, who is the most well-rounded politician in India today?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well-rounded.
Quite a few.
Ooh.
But
do you think?
I'm a great believer in the. I think somebody like Mamata Banerjee, who I admire as a politician,
As a painter?
as a
Not so
politician,
much,
not as a painter, but she's a politician who understands constituency, who is trying to do something. There's lots wrong with her, but she's a politician, and I'm a great believer in that. So I will not say somebody who has a clipped accent and speaks posh. Because according to me, they're not politicians, they're drawing room personalities. But she's there. I think Sonia Gandhi is a first-class politician. Mr. Modi is a man with a political mind.
You see how we say Mr., all of us? So scared. What happened to the old-fashioned Modi? Nobody says that.
Then
I gave Mr. Bhatia a chance.
I
No.
think Jayalalitha was a terrific politician. So
Scared the hell out of me.
India's
Scared the
had some
hell out of me.
great politicians. And let me, for the sake of the
Which-
millions who are going to listen to this, say one thing. Please don't think a politician is somebody whose views you agree with and who comes across sounding so good.
I'll go with Shivpal Yadav. I just thought he looked nice.
Okay. What is your opinion? This is from Mahim Gautam. What is your opinion about the millennial women objectifying men's butts when men have been doing that since the
It's a question of
beginning
sexism.
Sorry,
It's-
this is not going to answer.
No, I'll answer. It's a question of sexism. It works both ways. You can ogle, we can ogle. I don't see a problem. I don't care about it, honestly.
Well-
It's just an inconsequential question, unless it's a really nice ass.
Maim Gautam got an answer.
Mahim Gautam got it.
All right, Sidharth, pleasure talking to you. And
Thank you, Cyrus.
It's called The Wire. Please check it out. One of the last of the Mohicans. I don't know what's going to happen once this generation's gone. We'll go to France. Liberté, égalité, fraternité.
And Marine Le Pen.
Okay, catch us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Beyond Pod, any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you, we need you. If you have any questions, write to us online, and you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called May.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out IVM Podcasts to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.